कहते हैं कि शॉर्ट कंटेंट दिमाग के लिए स्मोकिंग की तरह होता है, उसी पर्सपेक्टिव से लॉन्ग कंटेंट दिमाग के लिए एक ब्रेन वर्कआउट होता है. वेलकम टू TRS क्लास.
So one of the things that took me a while to understand is in the meditative tradition, they talk about gross and subtle. They talk about material and non-material. So if you think about your subjective experience, there's no evidence that you even think or exist. So I don't know if this makes sense.
Yeah.
Ranveer, I can't tell if you're a hallucination or a bot or a part of the matrix. You could be a hallucination in my head. And I've had patients, I can tell you stories if you want, really scary stuff, right? So I once had a patient who was in a coma, was in the neuro ICU, a man in his late 40s, has been in a car accident, was in a coma for a while. They were concerned about brain damage and things like that, but he's recovering well. So I go to him and I ask him, how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing okay. He's like, what do you understand about your prognosis? So I have to do 6 months of physical therapy, but basically like, I'm going to be back to normal. What's going on with your job? I'm a partner at a law firm. It's not a big deal. Like my partners have said, take the time that you need to recover. No financial concerns. How are things with your family? My wife is supportive. My kids are supportive. Both of my sons are supportive. It's like totally fine. And so then, I go to the primary team. I'm like, he seems fine. And they're like, yeah, there's something off. And I felt something was off too. So once you consult with a patient, you have to kind of see them every day because you can't miss something. So I go to see him the next day and I go see them the next day. I go see them the next day. Every day, everything's fine. How's physical therapy going? It's hard, but it's fine. So about 5 days in, he's being discharged the next day. And I'm like, look, I come and see you every day and you seem fine every day. But like when I sit with you, you don't feel fine. And it's fine. Like I don't think anything's wrong, but like what's going on? Like what are you really feeling? So that's when he starts crying. And I'm like, what's going on there? So he tells me that while I was in a coma, I lived a whole life. I was married, and instead of 2 sons, I had 2 daughters. And I remember everything about them. I remember when they were born. I remember when, my daughter got ready for prom. And so like basically what he's doing is like he realizes that that's all fake. But he's like, I know that's fake, but he's grieving. He's like, I realize I'm never going to see those people again, and I'm heartbroken.
Damn, bro.
Even though they're not real. But I lived it. He's like, this is, it messes with my head. And I know I'm crazy. And I know, like, I love my family in this life too. But it's like that. What is that? What's going on? What's wrong with me? Will this go away?
How long was he in the coma for?
1 week.
And it lived a whole life in that.
He lived a whole life.
Damn.
Right? And that's not the only time that happens. We have very, very well recorded experiences when people are about to die of this time dilation, right? In the moment before death. And actually not the moment before death. Here's what's really crazy. Everyone's like, we don't know what happens after death. That's actually technically untrue. We do have reports of what happens after people die because people are medically dead. And then we bring them back to life. Like technically, right? And there's lots of arguments against that. But like technically this person is dead. And then we resuscitate them. You can be dead for a few seconds. Yeah. When I work with these patients, we've had to explore some of this stuff because that's how I help them. So I've had some patients, for example, so this person with the coma, we ended up basically doing grief processing for that life. We tried to make sense of it, right? So I was like, how do you understand this?
Do you think he actually traveled somewhere? Or his consciousness went somewhere?
Yes. I think that what he experienced was not a temporary hallucination made up by the mind. And the reason I believe that is because I've spent thousands of hours with people who are hallucinating, right? I know what hallucination looks like when you're sitting with someone who's hallucinating. This person was not hallucinating. That's not what that was. Now, it feels a lot more real. There's genuine grief. If I had not known this person's history, I would not be able to tell the difference. If this person had come into my office and they'd actually lost their family forever, or because I've had people like that too, it's very similar to that. It's a very genuine grief. It's not hallucinated. There's certain things that are different about hallucinated grief and delusion. It just feels different to sit with.
Yeah. Did he say anything about his death in that world?
No, so he didn't die in that world. That was not part of his memories.
Where do you think his consciousness traveled?
I don't know. So I think it was real, but I don't know where.
Was it on this planet?
I don't know. I have no idea.
थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग द क्लिप दोस्तों। मेरा होप यह है कि आप हर हफ्ते इसी चैनल पर लौट आओ ताकि जितने भी पॉडकास्ट हम अपलोड कर रहे हैं ना, उनका सार आपको इस चैनल पर मिले।